A few years ago, something extraordinary happened in a quiet laboratory. For the first time in history, artificial intelligence helped design a living organism, a microscopic creature built not by nature, but by code. No heart, no brain, no DNA instructions passed down from evolution, just algorithms shaping life from raw biology. Scientists called it a Xenobot. Tiny blobs of living cells that can move, heal, and even work together. It sounds like science fiction, but it's very real, and it may change how we define life itself. The story starts with two research teams, one in biology, the other in computer science. At the University of Vermont, a group of AI researchers built a digital simulation that could test billions of biological designs in a virtual environment. Their goal? To create a new kind of life form, one that didn't exist in nature. At the same time, developmental biologists at Tufts University were studying frog embryos. Frogs are ideal for this work because their cells are resilient, versatile, and easy to manipulate in the lab. The idea was simple, yet bold. Let AI design the blueprint, and let biology bring it to life. The AI was given basic building blocks, digital versions of real frog cells, skin cells, and heart muscle cells. Then it was told to find a design that could move on its own. The algorithm tried millions of random combinations. Most failed. Some just sat still. Some tore themselves apart. But one design, a small, squishy shape with muscle cells placed just right, started to move. When the scientists built it in real life, using microscopic tools to assemble the living cells, the tiny organism wiggled. It crawled across the petri dish. It was alive, but not in any way nature had intended. This was the first AI-designed living robot. They called it a Xenobot, after Xenopus laevis, the African clawed frog from which its cells were taken. Each Xenobot was about 1 millimeter wide, smaller than a grain of sand, and could move independently for days or weeks. They didn't eat or reproduce. They were powered by the natural energy stored in their cells. And if you cut one in half, it healed itself within minutes and kept going. These creatures blurred the line between robotics and biology. They weren't metal or mechanical, yet they were programmable just like robots. They were alive, yet designed by code. Then things got stranger. In 2021, researchers discovered something unexpected. Xenobots could replicate. When placed in a nutrient-rich environment, they began gathering loose cells around them, forming new copies of themselves. Not through reproduction like normal organisms, but by herding raw cells into clumps that grew into more Xenobots. It was the first time scientists had seen living cells replicate in a way that wasn't directed by DNA. The AI had stumbled upon a completely new form of biological self-replication, one unknown to evolution. It was both fascinating and terrifying. To understand how profound this is, imagine this. For billions of years, life has evolved through slow mutation and natural selection. Now, for the first time, we can generate life by computation. AI doesn't just analyze biology, it's starting to create it. The implications are massive. In the future, AI-designed organisms could clean up microplastics, deliver drugs inside the human body, or repair damaged tissues from within. Because they're made from living cells, they biodegrade naturally. No pollution, no metal waste. But as with all great discoveries, there's another side to the story. If we can design life, who decides what forms are acceptable? Could we create organisms too powerful to control? Could AI accidentally design something harmful, or something that evolves beyond its code? The scientists behind the Xenobot project are cautious. They describe their work as programmable tissue. Not artificial intelligence with consciousness, but a tool, a way to study how cells cooperate, build, and heal. Still, even they admit, once we open this door, it's hard to close it again. For the first time, humans aren't just studying life. We're editing its blueprint, and letting machines help us do it. The Xenobots forced scientists to ask new questions. What does it mean to be alive? If a cluster of cells can think, move, and self-repair without a brain or DNA programming, is that life? And if AI can design thousands of these variations overnight, are we witnessing the beginning of a new kind of evolution, one not driven by nature, but by code? Some researchers now believe this is the dawn of synthetic evolution, a time when digital intelligence doesn't just simulate biology, it becomes a co-creator of it. The team has already moved on to designing more complex Xenobots, ones that can sense their environment, carry molecules, or form patterns. They hope to one day deploy them for real-world use, cleaning up pollution, regenerating coral reefs, or unclogging human arteries. The dream is not to replace nature, but to learn from it and guide it with precision. Yet, as always, the question lingers. Once we give AI the power to shape life, will it stop where we want it to? For now, Xenobots remain simple, microscopic blobs of frog cells exploring their petri dishes. But behind those tiny movements lies a much bigger idea, that the line between code and cell is starting to disappear. Maybe one day when we talk about evolution, we won't just talk about natural selection, we'll talk about digital selection, where algorithms decide what lives, what grows, and what survives. And it all began with a question whispered in a lab. What happens when AI designs life?